everyone, it's Hailey, and today is Bookmas Day 22, so I'm going to be taking you book shopping with me for my entire family. In the past. I don't know if you guys are gonna like it. I hope you will, because I'm kind of excited for it. But essentially, I'm shopping my shelves for books that, like, if I were to be gifting them to each of the members of my family, these are the books that I would get. And I thought it was fun. I don't know, you don't know my family, but I will tell you guys like a little bit about them, obviously, for why I would give them these books. I thought it was a fun idea to kind of do some like Christmas shopping-ish videos and, you know, focus them on books. So here we are. Before we get into it, don't forget to click that subscribe button and then click the bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post. I'm going to be posting a new video every single day for the entire month of December, and tomorrow for Bookmas Day 23, I'm going to be talking about the books that are on my own personal Christmas wish list. So you can come back tomorrow for that, or like get a notification for it. I don't know where I'm going with this, but let's just get into the list. I don't know who to start out with. I guess I'll start out with my boyfriend. I don't show my boyfriend in my videos or really talk about him all that often, to be honest, because I just like to keep that part of my life private. I mean, some of you think he's fake, which I think is really funny, because why would I move to Quebec by myself, and how would I get this house by myself? But you know, whatever. What to know about my boyfriend: he's not a reader, which might be shocking, but we are very much an opposites attract situation. He really likes gaming, so he does enjoy like a story, because a lot of the games that he plays, they have a story, and he's French. He also is interested in like history and kind of like, he likes to debate and stuff. He's into that sort of thing. He can be like intellectual at times, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's really hard to describe people. I just kind of went to my shelves and was like, what do I think that he like might actually enjoy if I were to give him a book and if he were to read it. But I actually just thought of one that I have in a pile for someone else, so this will come up later. But like I said, he's a gamer, so I think Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin might be something that he would enjoy, because he likes gaming, and this obviously deals with like video games and kind of the behind the scenes of it as well. And also, I don't think he would like a romance story. I'm really making him seem like a real guy's guy right now, which I mean, he can be, but like he doesn't care about romances all that much. So I think the fact that this story is more focused on friendship, he might like it. But I just wanted to mention that one briefly. It will come up later. Spoilers. Speaking of spoilers, actually, the first book that I have here for him is Invictus by Ryan Groden. Now I say speaking of spoilers because we have been watching Doctor Who recently, and this book is kind of like Doctor Who. It's like quite similar with the time travel, like timey-wimey, all of that jazz, and you have traveling throughout like space and time, and it's just like a really fun, adventurous read. So I think it's something that would like capture his attention and keep him intrigued. The one thing is, like, I read books, I just like them. I'm not looking for plot holes. I'm not trying to poke, no, not trying to do that. He would say this is unrealistic, whatever. So maybe that would happen, but I mean, he's also watching Doctor Who and he's not saying that's unrealistic, you know? So I do think that he would still like this one. I think he would be into kind of like the sci-fi fantasy things, but I also think that he would probably enjoy historical fiction. So kind of a combination of that. Wolf by Wolf, also by Ryan Groden. Basically, I think he should read Ryan Groden, because I think he would also enjoy The Walled City, because it's like a very interesting sort of historical fiction dystopia sort of thing. So Wolf by Wolf, this is kind of, it's not ironic, but he actually wrapped this one for me. I think, did he wrap it for me? No. I was going to do like a reading vlog where I read books that he picked out for me, and I just never ended up doing it because of the pandemic, so then I decided to just read this one. But this is one of the books that he had picked out for that video, and it's funny because I think he would actually really like it, so it's kind of just interesting that he gravitated toward that one. But this is a World War II historical fiction. I quite loved it. It is like an alternate history where Germany actually won, so it's obviously like not a great situation, but I think that he would find this very interesting. I know he also watched the TV show that is kind of like this, The Man in the High Castle, so maybe that's why I'm thinking of that one. But the other book that I wanted to recommend is Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I think he would enjoy Scythe because it's so fascinating and it's dark and grim and eerie, and I think that would definitely like get his interest. The whole world of this and how brutal it is, and how it's a world like without any illness, so people don't die naturally, they actually are gone like in their size, and I think that the whole concept of this one he would be intrigued by. I do actually happen to have like 4 recommendations for everyone, and the other one that I was going to talk about other than Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow for my boyfriend is Mouse by Art Spiegelman, and this is one that one of his friends has read, and that has made him kind of interested in it, so I do think that this is one he would actually like really like. I don't know why, I just feel like I think all the men in my life and really all the people that I know in my life, I always go to recommend historical fiction to them. I can't explain it, but Mouse is like such a powerful must read. I think he would enjoy it. Let's go to my sisters. Okay, so we're gonna go to my sisters. If you don't know, I have 2 older sisters. They both got married this year, and I did not leave recommendations for their now husbands because that seemed like a lot, so I have not done that. But one of the ones for my sister Taryn could actually also work for her husband. Anyways, so I'm the youngest. We have my older sister Brienne. She's like 4 years older than me or something like that. And then we have my middle sister Taryn, and she is 18 months older than me, or I think it's like 600 days exactly. I don't know. It was part of my wedding speech. I can't remember though. But Taryn and I are very similar. Brienne and I are not as similar, but we also like, we're all kind of similar, to be entirely honest. Any of these recommendations can go any way. And also with my mom, I feel like it's the same thing. We kind of read the same thing, but yeah, it's just, I divided it somehow. So first of all, the recommendation that I would have for both of my sisters, the book that I would get them, is The Girls by Emma Cline, because what Brienne and I, Taryn lives in California and Brienne and I are over in Canada, and we went to go and visit Taryn this year, and we went to wineries, which was a lot of fun. We ended up leaving having bought a case of wine, so that was an interesting situation, but you know, it was fun. But this book, we were actually like, we had heard about when we were there because we went to the Cline family's wineries, and this is the daughter of that family. She wrote a book like set in North Carolina, in Northern California, and it's all about like cults and everything. So it's definitely like not at all a fun read, but I mean, I don't know about Brienne, but I know that my sister Taryn got really into like listening to cult podcasts and everything, so she would definitely like be interested in that part of it. But I think that all of us should read this one. I'm gonna start out with Taryn, my middle sister, just because this is the closest pile to me. I don't know how to describe anyone. I'm honestly really struggling with that. Taryn is very, I mean, both my sisters are very smart. Taryn is a computer engineer, so she's like math smart, which I cannot relate to, but I'm going somewhere with this. Because of that, I think she could really relate to kind of the struggles of women in STEM. This would be a moment that I could pull out the love hypothesis, but I think more appropriately, I think she would really like Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. I actually have already recommended, I think, all of these to her, like personally, except for the one. But this book is about a female chemist in like the 1960s. It is the 1960s. I always think it's the 50s. And she's like a really intelligent woman, and she is having these men who are just like, they are taking credit for everything that she's done, and it's not a great situation for her. But I think that this is something that she would really appreciate. Like, I think she would have very much enjoy this one, and I'm hoping that she will actually read it, because I recommend stuff to her and then she's really busy, so she doesn't get to it. Like recipes, I recommend to her all the time. She recommends one to me, I make it right away. I recommend one to her, it takes her a really long time, but like, it's fine. I'm not bitter. No, it actually is fun. She really enjoyed The Handmaid's Tale, and like, I think that part of it's not the same, obviously, but like how women are being suppressed and everything, I think not that she enjoyed that storyline, but she liked the examination of it, and like, I don't know how else to say that or where I'm going with this, but I think she would appreciate like a woman standing up and using her position that she's been put into because she's a woman, using it for good rather than just like falling in line. I just think she would like this one. I'm having trouble describing things. Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan. My sister also really enjoys fantasy, and I thought that this was one that she would definitely love. She's read like all the Sarah J Maas and everything. Both my sisters have. I think my mom has as well. But she tends to like high fantasies, I find, and this is a high fantasy, and it's one with such an interesting world, and I did actually recommend this one to her, but I just think she would like this one. Like, I enjoyed it. It's a high fantasy. It has the vibes. I just feel like she would like it. Why am I having so much trouble describing things right now? It's fine because I have a lot of books to get through anyway, so whatever. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Like I said, this book was gonna show up later. I think she would enjoy this one because, once again, it's kind of dealing with like women in a situation, like women in STEM, basically, women in a situation where they aren't normally, like, I feel like I'm just defining her as being a woman where mostly men work, but like, that is part of it. Whatever, it makes sense to me, okay? So this one is about video game designers and everything, so I think this is actually one that her husband might enjoy as well. Although he's more into like nonfiction stuff, so I think he would more so enjoy I Must Betray You by Rudis Petties. I think they actually, yeah, I had an extra copy of this one, so I did actually give them this one, but I still have to mention this one. Her husband is Romanian, so this is set in Romania, and it is set during the communist regime in Romania, and I think that it's something that both of them would enjoy. Like, she's trying to learn Romanian, so I think this would teach her more about Romania and everything, and obviously, like, her husband, he was born in Romania, so I think that this would be an interesting read for him as well. I did not anticipate how hard this video was going to be entirely honest, but I hope you guys still like it because I still think it's fun. Next, my oldest sister, Brienne. So Brienne really loves romances. She loves like rom-coms. She likes historical fiction too. Like I said, I think everyone does, at least in my family, like everyone does. And my sisters are both major readers. My mom is also, my entire family except for my boyfriend, they're major readers. They love reading. My mom hasn't really had all that much time for it, but like, she's retiring, so she will have more time. But we got her an e-reader and she's just been like using the crap out of that thing. But getting back to where I was starting, she has been just like devouring a bunch of romance books, definitely looking to like TikTok for recommendations, also asking me for recommendations. So really any romance I could recommend to her, but I can't remember which one she actually has read. So that kind of made it hard. So I kind of veered away from like the adult romances and went another route. But yeah, she loves like reality TV, like Love Island, all of that stuff. She likes the kind of feel-good things. So I felt like Prince Charming and Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. I don't know if I've recommended them to her before, but I think she would really like those. And now that I'm thinking about it, she did read Red, White, and Royal Blue, because I was like, something where it's like set in England, because she lived in England for a little bit. But I think that the royalty aspect she would really enjoy. It seems right up her alley, and these are just such fun reads. Like, love this series. Not really feel-good read, but I think I recommended Lovely War to my entire family, and I can't remember if they've read it or not, but if they haven't, they need to. Like, I'm gonna be having some words with them. I'm just kidding, but like, really, they would love it. So this is set during World War I, and it is following like two love stories, heartbreaking, narrated by the Greek gods. Oh, it is just so good. So I think my entire family would love this, but I think Brienne would really love it. Brienne also did dance competitively for a very long time when we were growing up. So Tiny Pretty Things by Danielle Clayton and Sona Chairai-Potra, I felt like was a book that she would like. Center Stage, really grew up watching that and enjoyed it. And this is kind of like a twisted, like drama sort of dance story. It's set at a New York ballet school, and there's like a lot happening, and I think that would hook her. And the last book that I have here, like I said, she enjoys a good romance, so I think she would like Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, specifically the second book. I think she would enjoy the steaminess of the second book. She also, like I said, has read Sarah J Maas and really liked it, and I think that she would enjoy this series as well. Like, it is really good, steamy, like the whole love story is just perfection. Okay, now for my mom. My mom, she really likes historical fiction. She likes romances as well. I think that historical fiction might be her favorite if I had to guess. That's kind of the route that I've gone down for this one. So I'll start with the historical fiction. So first of all, we have Guilt and Tarnish by Catherine Longshore. These are Tudor era YA romances, and they are such easy reads, but like really pull you in. And my mom really loved the TV show Reign. We were watching that, and she also has been watching Victoria. She just loves that like royalty stuff. I do as well. And I think that this is definitely a series that she would have a lot of fun with because it's historical. It's that sort of era. You have a little bit of romance, but then there's also like a lot of intrigue and a twisted web of things. And I definitely can see her liking it. And then the other historical fiction that I have on here is The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. Like I said, I just recommend historical fiction to everyone. It's definitely like my go-to. But The Fountains of Silence, this is set in Spain after the Spanish Civil War, and she was talking to me about something like similar to this that had happened. I think it was in the States, and she was like really shook by it. So I had told her and recommended this book to her, and I don't know if she read it yet, but I think that this is one that she would be like blown away by as well. I think she would really like it. So because Guilt and Tarnish were like kind of the same, I do have two more books to talk about for her. So first we have One Italian Summer by Rebecca Searle. This is very much a story that is like about like bonding with your mother and everything, which is why I think it's one that she would like. It's about the main character whose mother has recently died, and she's struggling with that because they were so close. They had a really strong bond, and she ends up going to Italy, which was like major for her mother's life. And when she's there, she actually like runs into her mother. So it's kind of like Gilmore Girls-esque, and my mom loves Gilmore Girls. I love Gilmore Girls. I think this is a story that she would really like. And actually Taryn would really like this one as well because she had read, or maybe she tried to read this one. She read In 5 Years by the same author and liked it. I think this one, the kind of magical twist threw her off a little bit, which I can kind of understand. And the last recommendation for my mom is The Lost Ticket by Freya Sampson. When I finished this book, I was like, no, like everyone needs to read this, but particularly I can see my mom loving this one. It is just so cute and so sweet. It is about an old man who has lost, like he lost this bus ticket where this woman that he met 60 years ago wrote her phone number. He lost it, so then he never saw her, and now he has been riding the same bus for 60 years ever since, trying to meet her. Oh my god. And it's like this woman and then like this guy who, this basically ragtag group that they're trying to help him, and it's just so sweet. And last but certainly not least is my dad. My dad, if you don't know, he has been in a couple of videos. He is the largest supporter of my YouTube channel. He has like from the start been supporting it a lot. So I'm sure he's watching this video. Hello, Dad. He watches like every single one, but he definitely is like #1 fan. So I really struggled. That being said, I really struggled with giving him recommendations because we do not read the same things at all. My dad really likes mystery. He likes like just not what I like reading. So I think that my sister Taryn would be like better to give him recommendations because she does really like reading mystery, and that's just not really my thing. But I do have like a couple mysteries that I've read. These I would say I'm the least confident in my recommendation. So first we have Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Ayomide. This was just like such a mind-blowing thriller sort of mystery story, and I think he might like it. I don't know, like him and Taryn, they try to like guess the plot twist and everything, so I'm curious to see like would he guess that plot twist? I really don't know, and I think that the mystery of it might intrigue him, but he reads more like John Grisham and stuff, and I just don't read that sort of thing. But I think he might like this one. Another maybe, because it's kind of a mystery, it's kind of a historical fiction. I'm a little bit more confident in this one, but that is Dreamland Burning by Jennifer Latham. So this is set like then and the now, where we have a character who her family has been renovating a room in their house, and they end up finding a skeleton underneath. So then it becomes like a crime scene, but then you're going back to like when the skeleton was there, obviously how it got there, like it wasn't a skeleton at the time. Really, really intriguing story, very interesting as you're like piecing everything together in both time periods. I think this is a great read, and I think that he probably would like this one. He also is very picky, so that's why I'm kind of hesitant. I also think he might like The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I don't know if he might like, I can't really, I mean, he did like The Hobbit. The Hobbit was one of his favorite books. I wasn't a huge fan of The Hobbit. So he does kind of like fantastical things. He just hasn't read anything like that in a really long time that I can at least like think of. But this one is like kind of low-key fantastical, if that makes sense. It's set in the library between life and death, and I think that more of the like existential part of the story is more prevalent, and I think that he might like that. I really don't know. And the final book that I'm going to recommend to my family and to my dad specifically is Fall of Giants by Ken Follett, which is an absolute freaking brick. I do think he would really like this one. It is spanning all of World War I, and oh, that was very loud, but you have this book, it's the Century Trilogy. You have this book, which is World War I, the second book is World War II, and then the final book is the Cold War, and you're following all the different generations of these families. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. Like, I will never forget, someone gave me this book and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, have you seen this thing? I could kill someone with it. But I ended up like reading it so quickly. It was one of those books where I was like, okay, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And I loved this book. It was just so good, and I think that my dad would also enjoy it. Okay, so that is all for today's video. I know it's a little bit different, but I hope you guys liked it. I thought it was fun. I had a good time doing it. So tomorrow for Bookmas Day 23, I'm going to be sharing the books that are on my Christmas wish list. So I will see you tomorrow for that, but thank you so much for watching today's video. I will see you then. Bye!